and welcome to the Smackdown Preview Podcast. I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, joined by Andy Murray and Ben Roy Turner from WhatCulture to preview tonight's episode of Smackdown on Fox. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts, where we not only review Smackdown and Raw, but also the Wednesday Night War between AEW and NXT. Pay-per-views, we have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week, complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. But as I said, joined by Andy and Ben Roy to look ahead to SmackDown tonight. And I suppose the headline news is the guy who's going to be there, the host of WrestleMania 36, Rob Gronkowski. Are you too hype?
Boring.
Harsh on Rob Gronkowski. Yeah, I guess. I mean, last week's SmackDown was actually a lot of fun, despite the limitations. Raw, not so much. But, like, I just kind of like the absurdity of seeing these massive stars in this tiny little arena. And Rob Gronkowski, while I am certainly no expert on the American futuristic rugby league, I understand is a massive, massive deal in the United States. If we get Mojo Rawley putting on a headset and getting admonished by his dad, Michael Cole, again, it'll be worth the price of entry. But yeah, it was good last week. Let's assume it'll be good this week again.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I've never been more intrigued about Raw and SmackDown than I am right now due to the current situation.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by Raw and SmackDown, but Rob Gronkowski does nothing for me. Like, they've had so many other more interesting sort of like celebrity guests over the years, or so more entertaining people, and it just does nothing for me. And the fact that we're going to get more Mojo Rawley probably on the screen, like, why do I need this? Unless he's painting his face blue and he's looking into a cracked mirror, I don't want to see him ever again.
Forgot about that, didn't they?
Yeah, do you think this is going to lead to... Because obviously, Rob Gronkowski, multiple-time Super Bowl winner with the Patriots. He's a big deal over in the States. Over here, I think, obviously less so. But do you think this is going to lead to an angle with Gronkowski, or do you think this is going to lead to more, like you say, exposure for Mojo Rawley?
I think it'll be a bit of both. Like, I think this is such a great meal ticket for Mojo Rawley, who might get back on TV and stuff now, and they can do tag matches and stuff when eventually Gronk, I believe that's his nickname, whenever he wrestles and stuff. Gronkowski seems like a really fun personality to just have on his own. I don't think he needs Mojo or anything. They'll probably tease something because, like, you know, he's gonna be the host of WrestleMania, so he's probably gonna like tackle someone or some whatever. What was it?
Jinder Mahal. He's got passed with, of course.
Bashed into Jinder at that battle royal before. They'll probably tease something. Maybe some little rascal heel will come out and go, "Hey, Gronk, you can't wrestle. I'm a real." It might be Sami Zayn. You never know.
Oh no!
What if Gronk wins the IC title in his first match? It might be something like that.
Yeah, I sense that it's going to be someone like that. Maybe a Baron Corbin sort getting in his face tonight.
Yeah, I mean, standard WWE send celebrity in to squash some bad person who's bad, but we know all the bad people in WWE all get scared and turn into sort of like wimps, like, oh no, I can't do anything. Oh, there's the big football man. Oh, he likes American soccer.
This is a proper sport.
Yeah,
brilliant.
it's just,
Thanks, guys.
It's just... he's not interested enough for me. Same as like when we had Crown Jewel recently, where we had two guests. I call them guests in like big championship spots. I'm just like, I'm not.
Excuse me. Did you see Tyson Fury's entrance?
That was worth the price of entry, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe that might be worth it. But apart from that, I'm just like, I'm not in. At the moment, I'm not into these big guests when I feel like they should be focusing more on other people. And I know he's a host, but still not an interesting one for me.
One of the big things that they are advertising with tonight, though, is the Universal Championship contract signing. Of course, WrestleMania 36 still going ahead. Roman Reigns challenging Goldberg for that title. Do you see them coming to blows tonight?
Yeah, I think like it's a WWE contract signing, isn't it? So it's going to be like they're going to cut like promos for like a couple of minutes. Goldberg's going to do that modern thing he does where he just kind of laughs at his opponents. Like, I kind of like it. It's like, The Fiend? He's not in a horror movie, man. Bugger off. Roman, he kind of laughed in this. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Did you see his quote from The Bump? Where
what the hell is The Bump?
No one watches The Bump,
they put tweets out and quote people, and then they were like, just quote, how did you beat The Fiend? Is it just, I'm Goldberg? That was his answer.
Actually, a fun aside, if you actually can find Bill Goldberg's LinkedIn page, if you look at like Triple H, he's got his job title as like Vice President of Talent and blah, 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 Stephanie McMahon, Chief Brand Officer and Universal Talent Person. You look at Goldberg's job description, it says in all caps, Goldberg! So Another reason I love Bill Goldberg. Yeah, I mean, it's going to go up in blows. Someone's going to flip the table because we've never seen that before. They're going to have a fight. Someone might get a spear, maybe. I don't know.
They've been pretty sort of like gentlemanly to each other. What if they just have a nice signing for once? Because we already had Taker, like, is it this week, just throw the table away, he's turning the big evil again. What if just Goldberg and
That's
Roman...
because Jerry Lawler didn't do his job and bring the contract, though.
Jerry Lawler almost died when that table almost hit him in the face.
Yeah.
But what if they just have a nice, like, casual sign-in, have a bit of tea, and then just go home?
Just go, cheers, mate.
I mean, it's a build to a match that we still don't know might not go ahead.
Yeah.
And even if it does, it's going to be weird because you sense Goldberg, arguably more than anyone, feeds off that crowd and utilizes the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
like his entrance is not going to be surrounded by chants of Goldberg. It's just going to be silence whilst he headbutts a door.
That's a good point. He's going to be roaming down an empty corridor. There's nobody that can knock on the door to let him know because there's too many people in the building. Because
someone in a hazmat suit.
This is why you get. Man. This is where you get No Way Jose involved. And he's one of the people that walks him to the ring. Get any essential.
He can't have his conga line.
Essential. I mean, are they essential stuff?
Well, you might have trouble finding No Way Jose. I've heard he's still sprinting halfway across the United States after seeing Eric Rowan's Spider. Goldberg, it's so weird because I thought when this match was put together, they were going to do what they did for Goldberg versus Brock, where it was just bomb, 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 and the crowd's like, like progressively louder and louder and louder throughout the night. But how's that going to look in an empty building? I have no idea, man. This is going to be so weird. I wonder if they might tape this match tonight, actually.
Yeah, we were talking about this on the news about them potentially taping in advance. They're going to have Drew and Brock in the same building on Monday. Of course, they could tape it here now. And I suppose they've got to try and build to this match without showing their hand, which generally people assume is the belt being transitioned onto Roman Reigns, thankfully to no boos.
Yeah, that seems to be the path they're going. I did like CM Punk's little jab on Twitter about this the other week. Roman is so unfortunate with all of this stuff, isn't he? Like none of the reasons why people just like boo him or whatever have anything to do with him. He's great. He's a great wrestler. I don't care if he only knows he doesn't know 400 moves. That's not what wrestling is. Like the guy, he's an earnest, good guy. He's a really skilled performer. He's a hard worker. And he ends up in terrible situations. And now this one got even worse because there's not going to be any crowd. I don't know, man. I feel really bad for him.
It's weird to say because post-leukemia, I feel like they've actually booked him really well.
They kept him away from the title for a long time.
Now I just want to see Roman just win it and just be like, yep. I think that's kind of what happened with the end of Cena's like actual real run. I was like, yeah, I can see Cena winning this now. Sure, I don't like it as much, but I don't feel like it's being forced down my throat in this classic Vince McMahon. Oh, pal, he's really good, pal. Look at his spear.
Interesting that they didn't have to transition it onto Goldberg. If the argument is they put it on Goldberg so that Roman taking it off him would get less heat than if he took it off the Fiend, well, no one's going to be there anyway, so you could have kept it on the Fiend.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's funny how things pan out in the end, isn't it? Like, another couple of months of a Fiend title run would have been weird and stuff, and it would have deprived us of that hilarious moment in Saudi Arabia.
Why haven't we got any of the Firefly Funhouse stuff? Like, this seems like stuff that they could be filming in this sort of time, and yet they're not utilizing that in any way whatsoever. It's really weird how they're like doing TV at the moment.
Having said that, though, I did think that the showdown with Bray Wyatt and John Cena on last week's show worked so much better with a completely empty arena.
Yeah, John Cena cut that man to ribbons in that promo as well, didn't he? I thought that went over really well. It was weird because like Bray's crowd reactions are weird. He is over, but not really as a heel. It's kind of like a lot of people are like, hey, I love the Fiend and all this stuff. And it's like totally not the desire. And Cena's crowd reactions have always been bloody weird. So I have no idea how this thing would be resonating in a bigger building. But I mean, that stuff last week really worked for me. Whatever they have planned this week, if anything, could be fun.
Any nods to Luke Harper tonight?
There might be something. There might be a
sweaty shirt in the background somewhere.
Aye, something like our Eric Rowan returns on the wrong brand. Yeah, I've messed that up straight away. Let's
be honest, the rules do not apply.
Yeah, nothing makes any goddamn sense. It's weird.
Last week saw the return of Jeff Hardy to action, of course, beating Baron Corbin. What's next for him? And is this going to be as pessimistic as it sounds, is his run in WWE now going to be affected by the fact his brother has just gone to the competition?
Probably what's next is the chest tattoo. I mean, he got his back done, so no. But at this point, you don't really see Jeff Hardy winning another world title, do you? You don't really see him being the face of a brand, because every time he comes back and gets more chances, he then does either something naughty or he then gets hurt. So he's kind of like damaged goods at this point, and he's good to have on a marquee. He's good to have on the poster. People know that Jeff Hardy's going to be there. They might be able to get some face paint in, get some of those arm things on. But apart from that, I think Jeff Hardy lingers around sort of like, I'm going to call it the main event mid-card, because he's a main eventer, but he's on the mid-card, and I think that's where he's going to stay until he's done.
Mid-card title run, perhaps?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see him gunning for the Intercontinental title at some point, depending on how things go with Braun and Sammy. I think with Matt going to AEW, I think that actually improves Jeff's chances a little bit, because I think WWE will sit there and go, oh my god, that YouTube video popped, the Matt Hardy debut one and all this stuff. We got to keep Jeff around now, because he might want to go and join his brother over there. I know Jeff's probably had like a year added to his contract after all that time out recently, but I think I'll put a little bit more effort in with him than they would, but I don't think he's ever going to be world champion again. I think he'd be a good like fill-in opponent for a heel title match, maybe like some heel takes the belt from Roman a few months down the line. He can headline a pay-per-view. Jeff Hardy can still sell a few tickets, right? Like you go see the guy live, he gets really good pops, and like he's marketable. He's got a good look, and he's like a fun wrestler and all this stuff. But I think they're kind of worried about him maybe going over to AEW and, I don't know, playing like Darby Allin's dad or something like that. That'd be a good role.
You mentioned the IC title there. Do you see? We talked about this a little bit earlier in the office. Disregarding the current situation and the fact we don't really know how it's going to work with title matches or pay-per-views or whatever, do you see them perhaps, as much as we were reporting the other day that Bryan might be taking some time off soon, building towards some sort of Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan match? Because that'd be fantastic.
I feel like if that's a match that Daniel Bryan actually wants, and he can say, I want this match, I'm getting this match, and I feel like they're at this point, like they can just give it to him, and I would see it's probably a good way to do, because I don't want to see Sami Zayn run away from Braun Strowman for the next year, because Braun Strowman isn't that entertaining. He was good in that sort of like Roman Reigns feud where he was throwing ambulances on him and stuff like that, but ever since then, he's just kind of been like, not damaged goods, but just like not really entertaining.
Well,
and
he's
I want to
been
see
mismanaged. They never pulled the trigger on him for getting a world title.
They missed the opportunity.
Like the tag team thing with when
Nicholas.
Adam Nicholas somehow made it to WrestleMania 34. Like, sure, that's funny, but I feel that damaged him. I feel like
never really had a Mania moment, has he?
No, he treated this IC title reign like he posted the pictures like with him and looking like he was doing Hulk Hogan poses, like looking at the belt and stuff. Not the same thing, mate. It's a brand new belt that it's not a brand new belt, but the brand new look, and still doesn't really have that feel on it. And because it's been with Nakamura on it, he just didn't really show it off to me. So, as I was this long tangent, I think get Sami Zayn, get him actually wrestling again, and get him put against one of the best wrestlers in the world. Yeah, and let's have just a banging match.
They would make magic. Yeah, I realise Strowman's never had a Mania moment, despite, as you say, winning the tag titles. I don't count that as a Mania moment.
Yeah, that or winning the Andre last year. It's all kind of fluff. They missed the boat with him. The Roman feud was amazing. I loved it. There was good stuff throughout 2018 as well.
Money in the Bank, I don't know. Man, we get off the tangent.
The Survivor Series stuff with Triple H was really good. But like the Intercontinental title is a weird one. I think whenever it goes to one of our little favorites, like a Sami Zayn, we all go, "Oh, it's the work rate title again." I would love to see him and Bryan. I think it'd be incredible. And I just want to see Sami wrestling again, like Ben Roy said. Like he's good. He's really good at the managing thing. He's great. He's benefited Nakamura. He benefits Cesaro. But he's a better wrestler than he is a manager, and he's a great manager. He's a world-class pro wrestler. Maybe he's having a little trouble with his shoulder. He had some major surgery, of course. But I really miss Sami just wrestling regularly. We haven't seen that in years. I want to make it happen. I want him and Bryan. I want Drew Gulak in there somehow as well. Cesaro can do things. That's a really good core of guys to have a fun division based around. That Daniel Bryan match with Cesaro last week was awesome. Yeah. It was only 4 minutes. I loved it.
And they were still wrestling through the commercial breaks.
They were
no one there. Still
uppercutting their mouths off. It was awesome.
Give credit as well to Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak doing wonderful stuff on social media at the moment too. So we're a week removed from the first sort of empty arena WWE show that we saw. We've seen Smackdown, we've seen Raw, and we've since seen, well, NXT was kind of
Yeah,
just a clip show,
yeah.
but AEW Dynamite. Do you think WWE will tweak anything they do, and do you think what they can do stuff to improve these empty arena shows?
So I think the most obvious thing they can do to improve these shows straight away is to do what AEW did and like have 10 wrestlers, 12 wrestlers, whatever, heels on one side, faces on the other, creating some ambient noise. I think Dynamite this week showed that this is far more engaging than just silence and rows of empty seats. They could definitely do with taking those goddamn seats out of the building as well, apart from the wrestlers, the ones they're sitting on.
Yeah.
But the thing is, now that AEW have done that, I think Vince will go, well, they've done it. We can't do it. Like, he might think it makes them look small time for copying a show that gets half of SmackDown viewers or like a third of SmackDown's viewers or whatever. I think that's the most obvious thing for me. As far as Raw goes, okay, they've got to fill time. Showing a whole Royal Rumble match fills time, but we had one match. One match. I want more matches, please.
Since tonight, my prediction will be perhaps that they show the women's Royal Rumble match because Charlotte Flair's on there, and that can build toward the NXT title match at Mania. But yeah, what do you think? How can they improve these empty arena shows?
I'm not the first to say this, but moving the hard cam. Like, move the hard cam to, I think it was said on the wrestling review, what they call that?
Big Observer?
Big Shagger, yeah. Big Shagger and all that. We're talking about.
Wrestling Observer.
I listened to it the other day, and they were saying like the whole point of moving the hard cam, it changes the visual so much. And think with WrestleMania, like if you have the flashy graphics there as well, and it was SmackDown, let's see the nice flashy lights, and then have a few wrestlers on either side, as Maddie said, and you've already changed the entire dynamic because these empty arena shows WWE side have only got progressively worse because Banter Triple H was amazing.
Yeah.
Just like, let's just have him and Michael Cole legit shoot on each other. Then Raw, it's like, oh, what's going on here? And then then NXT just like, clip show, lol. It's like, it's not going to work if they keep doing this. So move it. Let's have the Trons in the background. Let's get some wrestlers on the side. And also, like, don't bring the Street Profits to a show and then not use them.
Yeah.
Like, have two matches. Have them defend their belts against anyone in there. Just go, look, open challenge. It's hard times at the moment. Anyone come out now. Just two of you just make some friends and get out of here. Do stuff like that. Like, you've got wrestlers that can wrestle. Let them wrestle.
The intriguing thing will be if we get, as we anticipate, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks down the road.
Yeah.
And what? Here's a clip from the Royal Rumble 4 years ago?
Yeah,
Or
what are we going to do? We're going to have the 2015 disaster replayed for Roman's got a title match. Here's the time he won and everyone hated him. It's going to get really desperate with the content and stuff. Look, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical expert, obviously. Perhaps there's something to do with people being in close physical combat, having a match, sweating on each other and all that. Maybe that's a terrible idea. I have no idea. But from my perspective, the Raw show was not good. I need a little bit
less
more
than
variety.
7 minutes of wrestling on there.
Yeah, man. It's just, give me more. Just give me something more.
Because as much as people, say about NXT getting bad rating for their clip show, what the content they actually produced was great stuff.
Tremendous, yeah.
It just wasn't appointment viewing. Like, I'm sure the majority of the people who, I know they don't normally sort of trade viewers, but let's just say the majority of people who did transition from NXT to AEW knew, well, I'm not going to miss any revelations here, and I'm going to find out who the Exalted One is, and then obviously subsequently find out who Matt Hardy was on the show. So, yeah, I think there is scope for a 20-minute clip of something, or they've got a whole raft of stuff on the network they can drop in.
In the UK, like SmackDown back in the day, they used to do the From the Vault segments because obviously we don't have 4 billion commercials like they do over there. So watching it on a Saturday morning, they would just insert a match in there because they've got to fill the 2 hours because it's not an actual 2-hour show, SmackDown back then. So just do something like that. You can get away with putting an old match in there, like From the Vault style, because we have to be understanding at this point. We know what's going on. But again, it's unacceptable to have a wrestling show, one match on it, unless it's built majorly into the storyline. And like again with AEW, like now AEW's made sense of this empty arena because Jericho has told everyone they're banned. So now you know why the arena's empty. So it makes perfect sense.
Finally, you mentioned him a second ago, Triple H.
Oh, baby.
By all reports, he was only meant to be on for the sort of first 10, 15 minutes. And then obviously he did leave on camera.
Yeah.
And then presumably someone went, no, get back out there. That was mint. He's going to steal the show again tonight, isn't he?
I really hope so. BT Sport have actually compiled a little clip of a package of all his best moments on YouTube. Check it out if you haven't seen
brilliant.
it. It's tremendous. It was the best thing about last week's show, and there was a lot to enjoy about last week's show. Just continue filling in Michael Cole's soul patch, man. Like constantly ripping the poor guy, ripping Elias for his guitar. The whole thing was tremendous.
Joking about his demotion.
Yeah, man, it was really clever stuff. I would love to see him back on. I hope they don't just go, hey, Corey, go back in your usual spot, because that wouldn't be fun.
I just want to see, again, I point back to the time when there was a walkout and it was only like him, CM Punk, and like 3 or 4 others.
Sheamus was there.
Do something like that and be like, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And like have someone on the ring bell dinging it. Like just tell Brian to smile for a minute and like get Brian to do some funny stuff as well. And he could be like the ring bell guy for a bit.
Ring announcing. I'd like to see Triple H doing ring announcing.
And get Triple H just like doing odd jobs each time and just fill the time with something fun, and then give me like 2 or 3 wrestling matches.
You're a fan of a few years ago WWE, so you'll love Triple H in a referee shirt all over again or something.
Triple H can do anything. I mean, he's one of the best wrestlers of all time. He's the king of kings, the game. So the Cerebral Assassin can do this, and he can save the show.
We'll leave it there. Let us know your thoughts ahead of SmackDown tonight in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, let us know your thoughts on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. And watch there, follow all 3 of us. You can follow Andy Murray
at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for HHH, the original B+ player.
You can follow Ben Roy at
Ben Roy Turner. It's all about the game and how you play it.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn.
tag.
Follow us all at What Culture WWE. This has been the SmackDown preview, though. My thanks to Andy and to Ben Roy. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.